Chennai at the end of January, India and Pakistan faced each other in a test match for the first time in 10 years. Whilst the primary concern at first was that the two-match series should be concluded peacefully, it actually produced two enthralling matches. Saeed Anwar opened the Pakistan innings in his usual positive style, but then Javagal Srinath struck back to remove his opening partner Shahid Afridi, and then Anwar himself in quick succession. Ijaz Ahmed provided a glimpse of his class, but Inzamam made a mess of a Kumble full toss, and then Ijaz was trapped LBW to leave the home side precariously placed at 66 for 4.
He's given in. It's dangerous not to offer a shot. Kumble is not a big spinner of the ball.
Srinath then bowled Salim Malik on the stroke of lunch, making it 91 for 5, before Pakistan finally managed to put a partnership together through Yusuf Yuhana and Moin Khan. Yuhana looked comfortable against pace and spin alike, and having reached his 50, it was a surprise when he fell to the occasional leg spin of Sachin Tendulkar.
He's got him. He has delivered once again.
Moin posted his own 50 in company with his captain Wasim Akram, but after a stand of 60, both then fell to Kumble.
An appeal for a catch, it's gone straight off the bat.
Kumble polished off Nadeem Khan and Sakleen Mushtaq to complete figures of 6 for 70, and Pakistan has struggled to 238. New boys Sadagopan Ramesh and VVS Laxman set off majestically in response, lasting 48 off the first 8 overs. Then Wasim Akram trapped both LBW in successive overs, and Tendulkar fatally attempted to win the psychological battle with Sakleen Mushtaq by going for a big one off only his 3rd ball at the crease. Azharuddin and Dravid kept the score ticking for a while, with Azhar in particular looking in good form, but when he went at 103 for 4, the hosts were looking wobbly.
They've gone up in a appeal. Azharuddin started to walk, stopped.
Sourav Ganguly and Dravid put on a further 53 in good style before Sakleen struck to remove Dravid soon after he'd reached his 50. Then Mongia tried to overcome an umbrella field by hitting out, only to miss completely and leave his side on 166 for 6.
Once again, the ball that held its line.
After struggling for 4 runs off 46 balls, Kumble also fell to Sakleen, and the prospect of batting with the tail prompted Ganguly to launch a fierce counter-attack and bring up his 50.
This is a big one. That's the second 6 for Ganguly.
So successful was his ploy that Sakleen was removed from the attack and replaced by Shahid Afridi, who handsomely rewarded his captain for the move, snapping up the left-hander at slip for 54. Srinath followed for 10, and last man Prasad, also to Afridi, was stumped for 4. India's total of 254 gave them a first innings lead of 16. Although Anwar quickly perished when Pakistan batted a second time, perhaps the key moment was when Afridi tried to hit Srinath over the top and only skewed it towards Ramesh at mid-on. The missed chance was to be very costly. Although Kumble again dismissed Ijaz cheaply, Inzamam looked in good form, but he too was given a let-off.
Edged and dropped.
Afridi and Inzamam made India pay dearly for their lapses, putting together a stand of 97 in only 20 overs.
Yes, that's his reaction, and that's a big one. There is not a boundary in the world that can limit Shahid Afridi.
Then Tendulkar worked his magic again, dismissing a clearly disgruntled Inzamam with his second ball. Yuhana made a competent 26 before he too fell to Tendulkar, bowled round his legs, but Afridi charged merrily to a maiden test 100 and beyond.
He'll get it now. He's delighted. It's been a fantastic innings from Shahid Afridi.
Then, just as Pakistan appeared to be taking the match totally beyond India's reach, Prasad struck back superbly. Afridi finally perished for a superb 141, one of 5 victims for Prasad in 18 balls without conceding a run. Needing 271 to win, India made the worst possible start, with the Wacker and Wasim combination accounting for Ramesh and Laxman before the total had reached double figures.
Left on the pads, that's close.
Enter Sachin Tendulkar, who immediately stamped his class on the situation.
What a shot. What a moment.
But the dismissal of Dravid by Akram was a blow, and when Azharuddin was trapped LBW by Sakleen, India were in big trouble at 73 for 4. Minutes later, things went from bad to worse as Ganguly fell prey to a distinctly idiosyncratic decision from umpires Dunn and Ramaswamy, 82 for 5 and surely all over.
He's raised the finger. We've been talking about the excellent captaincy. The ball has bounced off that, it's gone off onto the ground, and then Moin Khan has taken that.
But Nayan Mongia and Tendulkar gritted their teeth and got their heads down, with boundaries providing only very occasional relief as they inched to 147 for 5 at tea. After tea, however, Tendulkar decided to attack, and in one over from Sack Lane smashed 4 boundaries. But in that same eventful over, keeper Moin Khan missed the opportunity to record the first ever stumping of Tendulkar's Test career. Tendulkar gratefully completed his 100.
Lay down to take a single.
Mongia will have to hurry. That's an excellent 100.
The batsman now began to get the upper hand, and taking the new ball seemed only to make it easier as runs flowed freely. But this match was notable for batsmen getting out almost immediately they had reached their 50, and Mongia was no exception, bringing to an end a partnership of 136, 218 for 6. Joshi hit one magnificent blow, but Tendulkar was by now tired and suffering from back pains, and he played like a man keen to finish the game in a hurry.
4. How do you set a field to this man? That's gone as well.
His bold approach took the home side to within 17 runs of victory. But with the game slipping away, Sack Lane induced the vital error.
Man's under it. It's taken. What have we got here? Sachin Tendulkar has knocked on the door. It's still closed.
All of a sudden, Pakistan were back in the hunt. 6 balls and 2 runs later, Kumble was LBW playing forward to Akram, and the visitors were now favourites. The huge crowd, which had enthusiastically supported their side throughout the match, was now almost silent, and to their horror, Joshi spooned the very next ball back to Sack Lane.
He's caught him. It's a cotton ball. That's the 9th wicket, first ball. Sunil Joshi's out.
With the 13 runs needed for victory now seeming a very long way off, Sack Lane induced Srinath to play on, and a famous victory was sealed.
He's bowled in. The ball has gone off the bat onto the stumps, and Pakistan have won.
A magnificent test match with constant twists in the plot, some superb individual performances and sustained excitement. But perhaps best of all, the Pakistan team were applauded warmly by the home crowd on their lap of honour, truly a case in which the cliché "cricket was the winner" was genuinely appropriate.
That's nicely timed.
India struck first in the second test at Delhi by winning the toss and sending out Ramesh and Laxman to take first use of a pitch that was slow, low and progressively more difficult for the batsmen to time their shots. Nevertheless, the openers compiled a useful stand of 88 before Laxman fell to Wasim. India proceeded cautiously onwards, with attacking shots a rarity, but then Sack Lane Mushtaq removed Ramesh for 60 and danger man Tendulkar soon followed.
Oh, he's given him this time.
Even Azruddin curbed some of his attacking instincts in scoring 67 as the home team inched towards a respectable total. But when Mushtaq Ahmed, who'd been called in to replace Nadeem Khan, deceived the Indian captain, the spinner's stranglehold began to tighten, and 230 for 4 crumbled to 252 all out, with Sack Lane finishing with 5 for 94, his 4th successive 5-wicket haul in tests. Prasad dismissed Syed Anwar early, but then Ijaz Ahmed and Afridi began to build a partnership. When Anil Kumble was brought into the attack, he could be forgiven for thinking that this wasn't going to be his match, as Afridi smashed his very first ball into the crowd. How wrong can you be?
They should redefine the boundaries when this man's batting.
Almost from that moment, Pakistan were in trouble. Harbhajan Singh, called in to replace Joshi, induced Afridi to a moment of recklessness, and thereafter wickets fell regularly.
What a catch! This is an outstanding catch.
Pakistan were eventually dismissed for 172, a deficit of 80, with Kumble finishing with 4 for 75 and Harbhajan 3 for 30. Although Laxman was bowled for 8, India were in no mood to waste their precious advantage and patiently set about building an impregnable total. Sack Lane and Mushtaq Ahmed wheeled away in tandem, and both Dravid and Tendulkar fell in the 20s to the spinners.
He's gone this time, straight to mid-on.
Meanwhile, Ramesh, playing his second test, was accumulating steadily.
Oh, that's a great shot.
He moved serenely into the 90s, but then miscued a full toss to his intense disappointment, just 4 short of a deserved century. Pakistan still had a glimmer of hope at 231 for 7, but Ganguly and Srinath then put on a century partnership to take the match completely out of reach. A final total of 339 meant that Pakistan needed an impossible 420 to win, but there was consolation for Saqlain, who recorded yet another 5-wicket analysis.
He's bowled him. That's another 5-wicket haul for Saqlain Mushtaq.
Pakistan had to survive 5 sessions to save the match and take the series. To win, they would have to score the highest 4th innings total ever. On this pitch, it was never an option, but no one seemed to have told Anwar and Afridi that. Their exhilarating partnership of 100 in just over 20 overs might, on another day, have grabbed the headlines. But today, it was just a sideshow, as history was in the making for Anil Kumble. When he got Afridi and Ijaz in successive balls, both with an element of doubt attached, India's only emotion would have been relief that they had finally made the breakthrough.
He's given him out. Leg before.
When Inzamam, Yusuf, Moin and then Anwar for 68 followed one after the other, relief became exultation as a squared rubber now looked a near certainty.
He's given him this time. So wickets falling in a hurry here.
He's got him. Off the outside edge. It's a good catch and slip. He's given him yes. Went up glove. Anil Kumble has taken number 6.
Kumble then bowled Salim Malik, and maybe, for the first time, the name Jim Laker crossed his mind. By the time he got Mushtaq and Saqlain in successive balls, there was no doubt that everyone in the ground was thinking the same thing. Were they about to witness history?
That's a lovely delivery that would have tested any top-order batsman. Again, wrapped on the pads, up goes the finger. There's no doubt about that. That was quicker through the air. Anil Kumble has picked up 9 wickets here.
There was an element of farce as Srinath, clearly desperate not to spoil the party, tried to make absolutely sure he didn't take the final wicket, which led to an 11-ball over punctuated with wides. But 2 balls later, Wasim Akram prodded forward, Laxman took the sharp catch, and on the 7th of February 1999, Anil Kumble had become the second man in Test history to take all 10. 26.3 overs, 9 maidens, 10 for 74.
India have won the match. They have levelled the series. But Anil Kumble, it's Anil Kumble's day. The first bowler in the history of Indian Test cricket to have captured 10 wickets in an innings.
So Akram and Azhar held the trophy jointly aloft in front of a delirious crowd, and a mini-series which had produced some memorable cricket and an almost unheard of level of harmony between players and supporters came to a delightful close.